Thank you for waiting. We are back with some more GGEU, ladies and gentlemen. This time we are going up a tier. We are in the Advanced Division Winners Bracket, and we are seeing Sallad Leuf versus Luminous. Now, you were saying, Misfit, that you've actually you casted Sallad Leuf a little earlier on in your stint as a caster, but with a very different roster.
Yes, no, I recognize the team name and one of the players, Tomas P. Is a DPS player for them. I don't recognize any of the other names on the roster, but that could just be my memory failing me. I'm not sure if they've actually replaced any members, but they were in the intermediate tier of our last GGEU. And so I'm excited to see them, in the advanced division and doing quite well. They're sporting a 9-1 record right now. They are in our winners bracket. And I'm really excited to see how far they've come as a team when we get into this match.
Yeah, and I mean, like you said, I mean, leaps and bounds not only to have gone up a division. I mean, we might have seen a change in rosters since that last GGEU potentially, but I mean, nonetheless, an achievement to turn a franchise around and level up like that. Certainly to have such a good win-loss record from the regular season. We are going to control first, of course, and both teams saying that they're pretty comfortable with this brawl composition, but I don't know. I mean, money on the table here, Misfit. I doubt very much that we're going to see any more Wrecking Ball Diva on Control Center coming out from these Masters teams.
Yeah, I mean, frankly, I would put it like 2 out of the woods. I've seen some Masters teams do some weird stuff. I have lost in Masters games to Genji Doom Dive before. Masters players are this weird elo where they're either complete idiots and they're so good at individual characters, or they have really, really good team play, but they can't make any hero plays. That's the weird spectrum we get in Masters. And it's very extreme there, right? Like, you can't be in GM without team play. You can't be in GM without mechanics. And in Diamond, you still have enough chaos going on that you can kind of work with what you've got. But Masters has a very specific thing going on there with that. So I'm excited to see which end of the spectrum each of these teams falls on.
Yeah, it's certainly going to be interesting. Presumably the team who are 9-1, I mean, Sallad Leuf, you're going to put your money on them in comparison to Luminous, who went 6-2. Apparently, presumably that should be 7-2 or 6-3. Perhaps there's a game missing. But nonetheless, I mean, with only one loss under their belt, I mean, Sallad Leuf going to be the favorites coming into that. So you're going to assume that the team play is presumably worked out there, because I would wager that a lot of these players, especially if they've been signed to a team, have already proved that mechanically they're going to be all right. We are heading to Ilios first, if you didn't catch that in our graphic as well, which coincidentally is Sallad Leuf's favorite map. So does that favor them at all? Do you think that they've got some set plays coming in? I mean, obviously there is more chance for less brawly comps to come out. Do you think that there's going to be Genji Doomfist, anything wacky, anything crazy coming out?
I would say that we can see some weird things on Ilios. It's always been a map where we see like the most off-meta stuff get run of all the control maps. Most control points have pretty set metas, especially Li Zhang. Our last game was very impressive for that reason, because we didn't see the meta on any of those maps, actually, which was very cool. But yeah, no, for Ilios, we can see a lot of weird things. I think this is one of the maps where we could see, even some Brig Zen, actually. That composition's kind of been, knocked to the wayside now that Brig has been brought down to a much more agreeable level, and Zen has also gotten his Discord nerfs. We're seeing much more Mercy get played with Zen compositions and stuff, just because the res and the peels are all much better. But I think for a map like Lighthouse, which is what we're loading into right now, I think dive from both these teams makes the most sense. I do want to point out, actually, quickly before I throw it back over to you, this Mercy Lucio is not a toss. I don't know for what reason this is, but whenever I cast GGEU, there's always one team that runs this Mercy Lucio composition, and for the life of me, I cannot figure out why, because I do not like it.
I have to say, every time this happens in my ranked games, I beg, plead, and scream for my supports to change one of them. So in a structured setup, I hope that's not the case, but Plague Doctor and one not swapping off. I mean, okay, you have to come up with something good for it. I mean, you have speed boost for your nothing. I don't know.
I got Wrecking Ball, man. What are you talking about?
Speed boost coming out for all the mobile characters. Luminous making it work nonetheless. However, finding a pick on the toddy there. Oak will find another one in retaliation, but We're seeing the Echo Mercy go into town, and Luminous, despite having the slightly wonkier comp, in our eyes at least, I mean, what do we know about Overwatch? Am I right? Luminous winning the first fight and taking first capture.
But I actually will try to break down what the Lucio gives this team, right? We can make all the jokes about how, speed boost is irrelevant in this composition and the heals are not enough. But really what it gives them is, like, look at their composition and look at what Sallad has. Who are they going to dive in Luminous's composition? If they were running a Zen or an Ana, it would be that Zen or that Ana.
Yeah.
But they can't dive a Lucio, so what you have now is every single member of Luminous's comp is undivable. So how do you stage an engagement?
Yeah, I mean, there is certainly that. We do see Sallad going by the wayside early on to the sticky bombs there. Joy will fall in the Echo soon thereafter. Luminous looking pretty comfortable on this unconventional composition, and perhaps it is just that. The team, you can't hit what you can't see, and the speed boost doing just that. I mean, it is worth pointing out as well. Sound barrier's online before Valkyrie.
Yeah, I mean, like, Lucio does have that AoE damage, or that AoE healing, I should say. Not AoE damage. That would be very stupid if he could do AoE damage. But yeah, between these fights, he can heal up these members quite a bit, and it does give them that defensive ultimate that, a really good defensive ultimate that I think is better than defensive.
Oh, Luminous just have been so good at staging these aggressive defenses here, and we see the duplicate come through, the remake kill onto the Baby Diva, and the double duplicate, the double self-destruct. Eliminations from two separate nuclear self-destructs. Looking pretty good for Luminous here, and Sallad have kind of left scratching their heads as if to say, what the hell are we losing to here?
Well, this is the thing, right, is it's meant to be so weird. It catches teams off guard because they don't understand how to beat it. I think Sallad needs to play much more defensively, right? They need to wait for the engagement and punish them rather than try to take an aggressive push.
Yeah, and unfortunately, the definition of insanity really bearing dividends here for Sallad. They keep going up this high ground area. They keep losing players on the way to the point, and somebody has to touch now. Perhaps a more direct route would have been a little bit better for them, as they're just losing players hand over fist. Trying to get to this point, Thomas will fall to the right clicks there of light now, and there's very, very few people who can get to the point. The sound barrier only coming out now from Luminous, just as a celebratory Q button. As the minefield laid over the point, the overtime's going to tick away. The nano boost not even spent from Sallad there. It's totally not getting a chance to use it. Luminous breezing 100-0 on Lighthouse.
Yeah, and that was a, excuse me, very dominant first map there from Luminous. And honestly, we can see this Mercy Lucio composition on more maps here. So Sallad definitely going to have to figure out the issue. It looks like they might even opt to do it themselves here as Toddy switches over to the Lucio. But no, it looks like they'll be opting for a much more traditional composition here. But yes, I think the benefit of Luminous's comp right now is that they're just able to play so fast, and they're taking these engagements very aggressively with the speed boost. And then, like, it just makes them so hard to hit, and they're so survivable. And it's just like, how do you... If you don't know how your comp beats that comp normally, it's hard to understand how to beat it. And I think that's where Sallad is struggling right now.
Absolutely. You kind of touched on what I was going to say there, is that Luminous cannot have a fight go very long. They have to finish these fights almost instantaneously, but Luminous have been doing such a good job of doing that here. I mean, you can see Blue goes low there on the Wrecking Ball, and he's got to have a Mercy Pocket to heal him back up, which isn't ideal because it stops the damage boost going through onto anybody else. That being said, though, tons of work being done by the Wrecking Ball here, and you just see Light Echo diffing Thomas time after time after time here. It does get the opening pick, and the minefield halfway to being ready now, looking pretty comfortable. Sallad in a spot of ball, they're going to have to come up with an answer, but they do get the first cap now, as Oak on this Reaper might be able to chunk in enough damage to force Plague Doctor off the Lucio.
Yeah, no, they definitely do have a composition. With that Lucio themselves, they can chase much easier, right? So, their composition plays like a brawl with that Echo floating around to finish things off, right? And they will be able to sustain through these engagements from Luminous much, much better with that Moira now. And I just think this composition is a very, very good answer to what they're seeing right now. Sallad with a great adjustment here.
100%. They have the Coalescence to engage with now, as well as the Wrecking Ball will come in. Blue Woo. The Plague Doctor over the top, the Valkyrie to engage. Luminous, say what you want about them, not wasting any time. The duplicate just in time to save Light's life there. Does go for the duplicate on the Diva again. The Wrecking Ball very low, but Plague Doctor fell by the wayside early on. Self-destruct available for Light now in this duplicate form. Sends it in, but might get taken out of the duplicate form. There does indeed do that with no casualties in the Death Blossom from Oak now, finding Blue Woo. Picks from Sallad. They've stabilized and managed to find a comp that works against Luminous's unorthodox composition. 60% on the point for them.
Yeah, no, Sallad, like I've said, very good adjustment here. Now Luminous is the one who's going to have to make the adjustment here. Light's heroics on that Echo have been kind of stagnant for this map. They are going to leave him on it, so we will see this kind of Echo Goats that we were seeing in Owl this week play out a little bit more. I'm curious to see now in the mirror which team will have the advantage.
Yeah, I mean, self-destruct over the top from Shade Reaper. I mean, they've got the ultimates to sway the battle in their favor. Shade Reaper stays in that baby demon form for a second, takes Blue Woo down to half, who doesn't get the sound barrier, but they can engage on the back of this, though. Adaptive Circuits coming in from Thomas now, who has a self-destruct of their own, gonna let that loose in a very good position on the point here, and has the remake if they choose to use it. Self-destruct does find one, but Plague Doctor already done some damage to Sallad here. The swap's coming through, you would assume. Luminous not going to get very much done without any ultimates, but do find the picks that they need to turn the tides. Blue will go into town with his Tesla cannon as well, and Plague Doctor finds a second environmental kill. 99-0, but Luminous finding the flip.
Yeah, Luminous there with a great fight there. Even in ult disadvantage, they're able to play the comp a little bit better than Sallad. And this shows us, you know, they're not a one-trick of that comp. They definitely have different looks. They understand how this comp plays as well. And now I'm excited to see how they try to defend this point with this composition. Sallad only needs one more fight to win it. And they've got a couple of ultimates sporting up here, so...
Yeah, I mean, one good Primal Rage from Fade could be all she wrote, and we don't see it coming out yet, and it's in fact Luminous who pressed Q first. That's done so much for them so far in the series, and it's doing it now as well. Really stuffing Sallad back into their spawn, like no holds barred coming out from Red Team now as they just keep on pushing. I mean, devastating blows, and they've still got ultimates to work with here.
And this is like good aggression too. They're not overextending. Yeah. They are taking an advantage and they are pushing it to. They're squeezing every last drop of aggression they can out of it, and they're getting out at a safe time. This is really, really smart play here from Luminous.
Yeah, good disciplined stuff coming out from Luminous, but it's got to be Sallad to answer back now. Like you said, they need one fight, but the Death Blossoms come out and they're dueling. Let it rip. Oak falls down, and Mordecai comes out on top with the beat lapped over him. He's going to be flying high. Tony will find a pick onto one and thins the herd ever so slightly of the defending team, but Thomas takes that tri-shot there to the back of the head as he tries to get out of there. Ultimates expended now from Sallad. They're in final fight territory now, and Luminous look like they are really in control.
Yeah, Luminous now. You mentioned final fight territory here. Sallad is the team with ultimates. That self-destruct is online for Luminous, but not much else. Sallad here, they have what they need, but Fade goes down!
Disaster strikes for Sallad there. The beat will be out from Tony very early on now, completely expended before the fight's really broken out, and there's still 5v6. That being said, the remake kill and an environmental boop might have just swayed the tides in their favor. The overtime nearly takes down, but somebody gets on the point. Thank goodness for Sallad there. Joy will fall. Fade does trade back, however, and is already on his feet back in the fight. Has this Primal Rage and is going for it now. The flip so very nearly in their favor as Oak finds a pick of their own. Toddy will fall, however, no healers available for Sallad now. The respawn's got to come through for them. The herd is just all but done for. Finally, Joy's back in the frame, but Mordecai ends their life sooner than you can blink. Takes out two. The Reaper really does cometh now as the self-destruct over the top in desperation. The Death Blossom, the dance of death from Mordecai himself might just have done it as the overtime is ticking down, and Sallad have to touch to stop the flip coming through now. Toddy's going in, and this duplicate will go on to the Lucio. Disaster strikes for Sallad, but Luminous will feast. They take Ilios.
Sallad had the player advantage, but they didn't have a lot of health on any of those players, and Mordecai able to finish off some low health targets and completely swing the fight for his team there. Luminous there, a very dominant first point, maybe a much closer second point, but it's really felt like they've had the control in the game so far. However, I have to say, you know, first off, let's change that remake. Please, Blizzard. It's stupid. It has no reason to be in this game. All right. We've already proven that it's way too useful at killing people. Get it out of here. All right. Thank you. As I was saying about the match. Right now, Luminous is just, you know, they're playing so much faster, right? We talk about how, you know, the team that goes first in Overwatch is the team that succeeds the most. And right now, Luminous is, taking the tempo in their favor. We talk about how Control is a map type where, it doesn't really apply to the other maps because the meta is so different. But because the tempo from Luminous is so good right now, I'm confident in saying that Luminous right now is looking like the better team. They are setting the tempo, they are setting the aggression, and Sallad needs to find a way to take it back if they want to get back in this series.
Yeah, no, exactly what you just said. You can take control with a pinch of salt, but one thing that will translate over is tempo. If a team is playing faster than another team and forcing that team to play reactively, you're going to see that happen in almost every compositional matchup that you see, because Luminous have just showed a hunger that we've not quite seen from Sallad yet. I mean, that 1-0 was brutal, devastating. I mean, Luminous just looked insane. Mordecai on the Reaper, when things got a little bit scrappy, really went to work. Found Joy coming off the respawn and took out that Moira, the only hope that Sallad had of turning that fight in their favor because there were no supports available. Mordecai spotted out that win condition and went straight for the jugular. Found the Moira, took him out, and from then it's just 2 tanks on the point, man. There's very little that they can do on their own to finish that fight.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited to see the next installment in our series. Judging based off their team card, yes, now I would say it's going to be King's Row here. This is a map that lends itself to more of that Brawl. Double Bubble, I would say, is the better overall comp compared to Brawl across most maps. Not on this one. This one is pretty heavily in favor of, it's going to be McCree, it's going to be Ryan Diva, it's going to be Bap Lucio, and it's probably going to be a mirror from both these teams. So I'm excited because this is just going to be some good, just a traditional Brawl Overwatch. I'm excited to see how each of these teams plays it.
Yeah, absolutely. Some good old EU Brawl, just in, the heart of EU as well. In King's Row, it just all makes sense. It all adds up so poetically. Sallad might come out on top when it comes to the Brawl compositions, but Luminous certainly showing that when it comes to Winston Diva or Double Bubble or that sort of Monkey Rush zombie comp, as I've been seeing it called, Luminous coming out on top in droves. That being said, we haven't really seen Sallad get enough space to show off yet. So that's certainly something to look out for when we take a look at Oak, the Tracer McCree player for Sallad, and when we also do look at Thomas, because I think Thomas was quite eclipsed by his Echo counterpart there, Light.
Yeah, no, Light has been very, very dominant here on this Echo. We've been struggling. I wouldn't just, say it's Tomas getting Echo diffed. It's just the coordination of the comp they were running on the first map. Just let Light do whatever he wanted to Sallad there, right? He just had all the space to work with because of those aggressive engagements. You could tell that Sallad didn't know how to deal with it. They hadn't seen something like this before. They didn't understand how to beat it with their composition. Their pathing was all wrong, and Light looked really, really good. Once we got into the second map, it was a little bit more even, but I still would say that Light was the better player, but there will be no Echo from either of these teams here. We're actually going to see the Hanzo Kree come out from Sallad here. But I actually don't hate this. This is a very, very high damage. It's got much more pick potential, but you miss out on those resources for your tanks. There's no freeze to stop enemy pushes, and there's no wall, which is like the big cornerstone of this composition.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're trading that off, though, for Storm Arrow, and I mean, maybe they know something about Luminous on King's Row that we are not yet privy to. Maybe we are seeing like a play the Echo Kree Brawl, something wacky and wild like that, where you do need the Hanzo to just try and spam out some of the damage, right? Not the case here, though. We do see the Symmetra initially to TP onto the top right. I mean, that's pretty standard. Mordecai presumably going to swap. He's not. Yes, he has. He's gone to the Doomfist. I like the Doomfist, but give me your thoughts on the Doom pick.
Disgusting. I hate it. You're not going to get anything done. This is a very, Kree wants to play at a much slower pace than Doom does. If you're going to pick a Doom, you might as well also have a Reaper and just play, really, really fast, but they're not doing that.
Yeah, but on the flip side, what you can do is, presuming that Sallad had a Mei, which they don't, that really scuppers Mordecai's plans. You can just go in before all the Mei cooldowns, go in and find an opening pick. I mean, it's not done so great for them so far, but they've done a little ring around the rosy here, and Mordecai's in a prime position to capitalize now. He sets his sights on Thomas, who's forced back into Hotel. 2 ticks already available. Thomas will find an opening pick. That being said, and Fade now going to start tipping the tides in the favor of the defense here, just with the aid of the Immortality Fuel. But Luminous still has a A couple members still deep in enemy territory. They're pretty easily cleaned back up, but 2 ticks of already unlocked there is kind of bad for the defense here.
Yeah, Sallad there with what I would call a little bit of a misread there. If they had correctly identified that Luminous only had 5 players in their team when they dropped, they should have just absolutely rushed them down. But instead, they played a lot slower and allowed Luminous to have more space than they should have given them. And they were able to win the fight eventually, but still.
Yeah, well, here we go. The speed boost, the high noon coming out. The dragons, however, right on top of the high noon, going to slow that down, and light will fall there to Thomas. Wonderfully placed immortality field, only staves off the damage for so long there, and Sallad looking pretty good here. The Hanzo doing so much work from this phone box here. The 13th Doctor just been announced, and it is Thomas on the Hanzo coming out of his TARDIS to do untold damage to Luminous there. Looking very good indeed. Just used the Dragon Strike and is 80% to his next.
I should mention that in the last game that I casted of Sallad, Tomas's premier character was the Hanzo, and he was electric on it. And we're seeing that again here, like you mentioned, already 80% to his next dragon. This guy's going to have one every fight.
Yeah, I mean, it's evident already, and we see the high noon from Oak this time. Meteor Strike going to be forced out, and the beat! Really cautious play in respect to the Doomfist here. Second beat will be favored, however, comes out for the attackers. Someone's got to get on the point with the Dragon Strike, eaten up as Fade will fall here. Self-Destruct's traded out a pick apiece now. Numbers thinning for either side, but Sallad looking pretty good here. Still has the integral pieces to hold on to this point as a pin in desperation comes out from Uwu. Not going to net them very much. Oak will fall late in the fight to Mordecai, but will be traded out pretty quickly. The attackers can go quick here, though, if they see fit, Misfit.
Yeah, they absolutely can, and they can leave behind the Doomfist from spawn. They don't gotta wait for him because he's got those mobility cooldowns here. Unfortunately, enough players have gotten back for Sallad. Look, that's no longer quite the best idea. No major ults available for either side right now. This is going to be a very fundamental fight, and the team who plays best Overwatch is going to win it.
If you haven't noticed already, Mordecai switching over to the Mei is just untold damage to Fade, who falls early on. Not expecting that was Sallad who took the cold shoulder of Mordecai there. Gonna be falling down now. Sallad, finally the dam started to break here. Thomas can do what he can as the Hanzo, but it's gonna take a lot more than that. He steps onto the point, but he's gonna have to get on out of there as the point capped up, but a good chunk of damage, chunk of time, pardon me, taken off the clock here by Sallad. Shatter knocked down as well, trying to take this Streets phase into their own hands here. Luminous, they will get the pick on the Fade as well, just gonna force the defense all the way back, and there might only be 1, maybe 2 fights on Streets phase now.
Yeah, that was a good play, but they can't quite push all the way up to capitalize on it. Unfortunately, one did fall in that fight to the arrows of Tomas, and now, we're going to see a much more simple Streets phase. They're not going to be able to push up and take a ton of space, but now that both teams are back, we will be able to see a full fight here.
Yeah, there's a lot of respect here, actually. From Luminous. Sallad just going to back on up, but that Mei will just paying dividends here. The High Noon got to come out from Oak to stave off that aggression a little bit. Dueling Amplification Matrix sees as well, as we do see the Blizzard lapped on top. We're starting to get into a bit of a goat's fest here where Qs are happening, but nobody's dying. Light's going to change that, however, take matters into his own hands and find 2 final blows there. No tanks available for Sallad as this payload barrels on forward. Thomas coming up with a pick, but again, just like on first point, too little, too late. No one can get on the point, and Streets phase is over as soon as it started.
We're seeing the difference in compositions really come into play here. This Mei is able to give the tank so much more, I should say, forgiveness in how they can play. Like, they can't get rushed on as easily because the Mei is there to freeze anyone who tries, who dares come near. And because they don't have that on the side of Sallad, they have to play much more passively, and right now Luminous is just dominating.
Oh! The Dragon Strike again comes out in reaction to the High Noon, gets Light nice and low, and that time does finish him off. Thomas really coming up big on that Hanzo. Like you said, that Mei is causing so much trouble for the defensive team that they've got to justify this Hanzo pick, and I will say, Thomas is doing a very good job of justifying it right now.
Yeah, the issue that I have, though, is just that he's got to do that every fight. What he just did, in order to really say that he's getting more value than the pick of the Mei for Luminous. Because the ult's not as good, and we are going to have a pause here that's going to interrupt my train of thought. How disrespectful to me, specifically. But yes, no. To talk more about the comp differences, just the Hanzo's pick potential. So if he's not getting those picks, if Luminous gets a pick before Sallad does, they're gonna win the fight. You know, their composition is just better suited to push an advantage like that. And the Hanzo I just don't think is as good. Again, Tomas very very good at the character. Like no beef to him. He's been doing everything that he can here. I personally prefer the Mei comp to it, and I think we're seeing Luminous succeed because they are running the Mei as opposed to the Hanzo.
Yeah, it's exactly what you said earlier as well. It's justifying the pick every fight as well, like every fight. And the value for effort trade-off that you get from the Mei's kind of just existing, the threat of the Mei wall every 13 seconds is going to slow the tanks down. It's going to have that in the back of their minds. They've got to respect the Mei wall. They can't go in as hard as they have been already, regardless of whether or not Thomas gets a pick, right? He can do that, but he has to get 2 picks every single fight. They need to be impact picks as well. Yeah. It's really, really rough for Sallad here, but with them just having won a team fight on 3rd point, they now do have the positional advantage to get Thomas onto that high ground, and what he's gonna have to do is just make life hell for Luminous as they try and push in now.
Yes, absolutely. You hit the nail on the head here. One of the benefits of having such a high damage composition is once you get those positional advantages, you can set up you don't want to set up like too many like crossfires with a brawl composition, but you can have like the high-low setup, right? You can have your Hanzo on high ground, Kree on low ground, both very high damage output characters, and you've got to be afraid of both of them if you want to formulate a good push here. The Diva's going to have her work cut out for her, using that defense matrix to save her members from those Hanzo arrows. Something I will be looking for is where exactly we're going to see Tomas set up here on this Hanzo, right? He can set up a little bit farther back on that, like, you know how there's those 2 high grounds really that he can access, right? I would prefer him to play the one that's farther back, right? Obviously, he probably has more chance of success if he plays closer, but he's also easier to force out. And if they can get onto Tomas on a close high ground, and they're able to pressure him and they're able to force him out, the brawl composition that has the Mei is just going to see much, much more success. Tomas needs to position in places where he is not going to be challenged.
Well, we're seeing it here. He is taking that more aggressive position, but this is as Luminous are pushing back in. I was actually going to counter the argument and say that I do like him more up here, but as you said, he's right in the grasp of GDenth there. Oakwell Fall here does get the trade off there, and dueling beats coming in. Amplification Matrices as well as Luminous gets so very low. Trading shatters, but Blue Woos is enormous. That being said, I mean, unbelievable display. Pardon me, it was Fades who was enormous, but the double remake kill from GDenth. Just so back and forth. This fight has been an absolutely chaotic ride. When all the dust is settled, though, it looks like Luminous is coming out on top. The respawn advantage is going to give Sallad another fight, but my word, what on earth are we just seeing?
Well, we're seeing Reback being a balanced ability. You know, that fight was completely in favor of Sallad until he used the ultimate that allows him to get back into the actual character's back, and all of a sudden, now Luminous has the advantage.
They certainly do. I mean, the Doomfist coming out from Thomas. Now let's see if he's just as good. The Reback coming out. The Blizzard does come out. It does not get cancelled, but Luminous barreling forward now. The stagger's all but dead now. We're just going to see the Lucio kick and scream. Toddy going to fall down, and 45 seconds on the clock. 44 as someone got off. Not a bad time back for Luminous, but Sallad with that first point, pretty solid hold, managed to chunk down the time bank there.
I mean, that Remak there, I can't state enough. I mean, like, I can joke and be like, stupid ability, but also, like, literally, what is that? Like, Sallad didn't do anything wrong there. They demech the Diva, and she just calls a mech, and it kills 2 people. They win the fight. Like, they changed that in the patch notes. They say that they changed it because they don't want her getting staggered as much. You know, be afraid of her when you stagger her because she can kill you now. But also, have we actually seen Divas not get staggered anymore because of this change? No, they still get staggered.
They do.
Arguably for longer now because they want to bait the Divas into trying to remac instead of jumping off the map. So why is this change still in the game? That's my question. I honestly believe it should be reverted. I think people have gotten too good at using it offensively, which is not how the devs intended it to be used. So I think it should be reverted. I think it's simple as that.
It's very hard to argue with it, to be completely honest, but here we are. This is the situation that we are faced with. I mean, this was Sallad Leuf's map pick, right? So with Luminous finishing the hybrid, are you worried at all for Sallad Leuf, or are you just thinking they're going to do it in a much better time?
I mean, we'll have to see. You know, the Hanzo composition would be a much more offensive composition. They are opting for the Doomfist that we saw Luminous run here too. So I'm not really sure. We're gonna have to see as we get into this, just how effective it'll be.
Well, there we go. The Mei wall is baited out really early, and it's a really coordinated speed boost through Hotel to just jockey for positioning now as Thomas playing that punch simulator. He does go in for the Baptiste. Doesn't quite find the kill, but all the while fades, swinging the hammer on Blue Woo, who does fall once the attention is turned onto the Doomfist, and looking pretty good for Sallad Leuf thus far. Oak's in a nice position here to be pretty uncontested on this McCree, just getting damage off on that Peacekeeper. They're going to now progress to the point as this is a jumbled mess of positioning now that Luminous have found themselves in. The Flashbang not doing all too much to slow down as Oak goes to work there and finds 4 final blows with the aid of Thomas disrupting and disgarbling Luminous. They're going to get the first point unlocked in just over a minute there.
Yeah, very nice fight there from Sallad Leuf. You mentioned the coordinated push away from the Mei wall. Unfortunately, they weren't able to win the fight off of that. But Oak there coming up big, finishing off those kills. But oh, a nice Mei wall here.
Yeah, that was absolutely beautiful, and the pillar that got broken down doesn't save Fade there, along with a D-Mech coming through. Thomas will fall as well, and Shade also going to be going down, so this payload stopped in a very unfortunate position for Sallad Leuf now. This might be Luminous going right up to the spawn doors. It's going to force a rotation onto the high ground from Sallad Leuf.
I actually don't hate the rotation on the high ground anyway. You know, I think they can get value out of it, wrapping it around or doing other things. They don't want to fight in that choke when they don't have the cart there to block the Mei walls. Mordecai can just wall them for free when there's not a cart. And, you know, with the Blizzard especially online for Mordecai, it's really dangerous.
This really is a game of chess, though, because you see Luminous going for that wraparound again. The beat comes out to stop from that. Meteor Strike getting too much done there. It does take out the Immortality Field and the Self-Destruct over the top. Blizzard as well as a Shatter is lapped on top. Luwu finds Thomas with that pin. Comboed in, but the Shatter down as well in contestation from Fade. Doesn't catch them all that much in a lost fight. Perhaps he's going to want that back. After Luminous going to hold on to this cart in this courtyard area, just go back through this archway and bait in Sallad Leuf.
Yeah, very nice fight win there for Luminous. I like the rotation from them. They didn't allow themselves to be dropped on very easily. They played the long sight lines, which they're better at because they have the Meta Poke, whereas the Doomfist doesn't really get value at range, needs to engage, needs to be close. And now Luminous here is sporting a very healthy ult economy. They have the advantage here in this fight. We'll have to see how hard they can push it.
Well, there's the Mei wall down, so Sallad Leuf haven't got to worry about that as Blue Woo goes dangerously low there. Still swinging his hammer though, no fear. Respect out to them. Self-destruct comes on down. The pin not going to end as Fade will fall there. Trades back and forth nonetheless, however. Joy finds herself in a spot of bother in this small corridor as Toddy finishes off Light with a fist. Gonna go down there as disaster for Luminous there. This payload gonna keep on moving. Toddy coming up big there on the Lucio with 2 melee final blows.
Yeah, Mordecai there with an interesting Mei wall. Walls the Doomfist off so that they can't be in the fight. But unfortunately, just not enough. They're not able to secure enough picks fast enough. The Doomfist able to get out from that Mei wall and kill the Baptiste. And once that happens, it's just all over for Luminous.
Yeah, one final fight to be had here as the High Noon will come out. The Mei walls just doesn't cut off Fade. Dueling High Noons, both netting them absolutely nothing, and the Doomfist is in deep here. Light turns his back, but gets Toddy in the back of the head. He can't be in 2 places at once. He's got to have his head on a swivel. Blue Woo caught behind enemy territory with their own Mei wall blocking him off. He's going to back up through that, however, going to be okay to do so. The defense going to hold on to this beautifully there. Light's falling down. Should have been a 1-team fight there, but not to be.
Yeah, good fight there from Luminous. And now we look at these ult economies, and I personally have to favor Luminous. You know, Sallad does have that bomb online, but they can't use it as long as Mordecai has this Blizzard because they need the D.Va in-back to eat it. So Luminous here has the ability to set tempo much better than Sallad does. Both players have beats, and I don't see a way this doesn't go in favor of Luminous.
Oh, well, yeah, I mean, Fade goes down. The self-destruct a little ambitious there. It does find light, however. So it's a 5v5, and the beat is invested by Sallad if they want to win this fight. Self-destruct now from Luminous, and a beat as well, just to answer back. A beautiful defense matrix over Joy there to stop the Frozen Wrath from taking her life. As Blue goes very, very low. Sallad going to be clutching this one back up and turning it in their favor as G10 can't defense matrix that entire amplification matrix. Shadow now over the top from Fade, and he goes in for the kills. Oak going to be getting the kill credit. However, presumably Sallad now going to be able to take Street's phase and go into that third point.
Yes, they've definitely capped at this point. There's no way for a recontest here. Definitely not a recontest that Luminous actually has a potential to win. Ooh, from downtown, Fade hits the Fire Strike on the light, and that actually is an advantage they might want to push here. Probably not, though. Luminous not engaging, but they can take some extra space here on their opponents, and they have a healthy time bank here. If they want to match the time bank or do better, they can win this fight, and they should be sitting pretty here.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is for Luminous, all eyes on Blue to land a big shatter. That's all they've really got. The flashbang shatter comes down with a block. It's just mistimed. Fate, however, is caught behind that Maywell once more, but Oak held on to the High Noon, patiently waited, checked the clock, and indeed it was right there. Finds the double kill, gonna keep this cart moving nicely along. Gonna push Luminous into a final fight situation now. They're gonna have to hold on to this right at their own spawn doors.
Oh, and that stagger onto one there is gonna be really big because now Luminous, even though they have members back, they can't push out because they can't afford to take damage without that Baptiste there to heal them up. So it's gonna come down to the final golden box of victory here.
Yeah, the early self-destruct comes out, and I like that, but the Blizzard does really punish the main tank there. Gonna force him back. Oak gets their counterpart right in their face. The High Noon out as well from Light to seal the deal. The defense presumably gonna hold on to this, but the remake takes out Tom. Yep, that's gonna be the nail in the coffin there. Gonna hold on. The beats come out. They are both investing beat here. Super optimistic from Sallad to keep this going, but they wanted to do it with an equal time bank. Just can't get the kills to win it now. And that is, I mean, just disaster investing the beat there, Misfit.
Yeah, I do not agree with Toddy's investment of the beat. Plague Doctors wasn't horrible. I don't hate it. But Toddy's especially, you definitely are going to want that back for this next fight here. We are in final fight territory. Something important to note, though. Sallad can complete the map in overtime, and we will still go to extras because there is less than a minute on Luminous's timing. So not in that bad of a situation here. They just need to win this fight.
There has to be an eat on the Blizzard here, I think, if they want to win this fight. Sallad. They don't get it off, and Mordecai lands it, but he dies nonetheless. Mordecai goes down. Fade will fall. That being said, the Blizzard was good enough to seal the deal. A flashbang onto Oak. Gets him so very low, but he's got his personal Baptiste in his back pocket. Gonna keep him alive. And then the self-destruct gonna be taken out Light now. So the push gonna be able to continue onwards. Hollywood falls with Flame Strike of Blue Woo, however, though, so that's gonna force all of Sallad back to regroup for one final fight, Misfit.
Yeah, they have 10 seconds on the clock here. They've got to... Plague Doctor already has another beat built up, so they've got to deal with that, and I just don't think they have the resources.
Oh, they do touch, but this... Oh, my word. The damage just comes through from Luminous. That's going to be completely over and done with. Shatter down over the top. Just going to do that for good measure now. Really not even necessary as a Baby Diva's on the point. That's all it's going to be. The overtime's going to tick on down, and Luminous go up in the series 2-0. And you can see there... McCree taking a knee. He's earned it there for sure. Light doing so much work on that McCree. The DPS from Luminous coming up big there.
Yeah, that was a very, very good map from both teams. Luminous able to close it out there in the end. And I just think that, like, again, the tempo is just so in favor of Luminous here. Like, Sallad did a good job. I don't like their compositional choices, but I don't think that was the big reason they lost. I do think the big reason they are struggling in this match right now is because Luminous just has such a death grip on the tempo of this game right now. They are not letting Sallad go first at all in any of these fights, and right now that's what's winning it for Luminous.
Yeah, it is, and you can see as well that even when Sallad were up a pick, they were a little hesitant to go for the kill. They were a little hesitant to speed boost on in and try and press the advantage that they already had. Whereas Luminous almost on the flip side, when they're a player down, they are going in because they know, well, we're probably going to lose this fight anyway. So we may as well go in a 5v6, see if we can get a couple picks, see if we can turn this around, and then we get a D.Va remake double kill. Who knows?
Yeah, no, I definitely not a fan of that ability for
I'm
a couple
so sorry.
of reasons. No,
I Winter Soldier triggered your triggered your psyche there.
You threw me some numbers.
I did. The numbers, Mason. What do they mean? We are at match point here. I'm not sure if we have some stat cards to look at before we throw to our final break. We do not, so we are going to go to that break. Let's see if Sallad Leuf can bring some of that aggression into their final map. It's going to be their map pick, but it's really all to play for in this next one. We'll see you then. It really is do or die here, GGEU. We're in the upper bracket, the advanced division. We've got Luminous shining bright here, and Sallad Leuf struggling to get a foothold in here. We are 2-0 at the moment. Luminous looking really, really good, Misfit.
Yeah, we talked about this a little bit before the break. Just the tempo setting of Luminous right now is the main thing Sallad Leuf is struggling to deal with. And I right now, I think no matter what comp changes or map we see, as long as that is the story of this match, as long as Luminous is the one setting the pace, Sallad Leuf is not going to be able to win it. That is the primary thing you need to have in Overwatch in order to win, and that is tempo.
Yeah, I mean, that's the problem, right? Is that we've seen Luminous play with an Echo and a Winston D.Va. We've now seen Luminous play with their Brawl composition, and both times Sallad Leuf have struggled to get into the game. Where do you take them on this final map? I mean, what do you do?
I would opt for a composition that doesn't need as much teamwork. I honestly feel like the mechanical ability is something they can exploit. I think the overall mechanical ability of Sallad Leuf is actually higher than Luminous. Personally, right. Light obviously has had a great game so far for Luminous, but the rest of the team hasn't really had any like big hero plays. It's all been, they're a much more team play coordinated team. They set tempo well, they use their ults well, they coordinate well. There's not a lot of hero plays going on. And I think Sallad Leuf, if they go to a composition at a map where they can play a composition that maybe can rely on their mechanics a bit more, think like Ball Sigma, maybe some split compositions, maybe even double shield, I think they can have a chance here. But again, the tempo is the main thing they need to work on.
Yeah, I mean, when we're talking about individual pop-off, I mean, you look at Sallad Leuf and you think Thomas, right? That guy has been unbelievably good on the Hanzo, even on a losing side. And I think it's very difficult to make yourself shine if you are on the losing team in a series. Thomas has done an excellent job of still looking very, very good on that Hanzo. The Doomfist didn't have as loud an impact, but as you're saying, if they do decide to rock up on a Ball Sigma comp, they can run the Hanzo. They could, get him on that, and they just hope that he finds picks, which certainly could be the case. I mean, yeah, if you're looking at what we've got coming up now, we've got Watchpoint Gibraltar. Very likely, we're gonna see double bubble. We're gonna see, Ball D.Va compositions. You're not very likely gonna see very deathmatchy compositions, or are you?
No, we're definitely going to see dive compositions from both these teams. I can't really get behind anything else. The high ground's just too good on this map. We can see some sniper picks if these teams want to run that, but I would say it's probably going to be Tracer or Echo, Kree maybe some Ashe. We're going to see Winston. We're going to see D.Va. We're going to see Anna. We're going to see Brig. That's just how it's going to go. That's how this map always goes. And it's one of the reasons it's one of my favorite maps. I love that composition quite a bit.
I'm right
as
there
both
with
these
you.
get it's such a fun comp to watch here. But yeah, no, we talked about Tomas a lot, but Oak also is just very, very strong. Was very good on the Kree, and I'm excited to see him on Tracer to see what he has for us.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it was really hard for Sallad Leuf in Kings Row. I feel like Fade didn't get a chance to shine. He was constantly caught behind a May wall, and it was actually the team kind of not breaking it in time to save him, or not dropping a lamp, or not D.Va defense matrixing over the top of it. So hopefully when he's playing the Winston, especially if Mordecai wants to stay on this Genji, we might see a little bit more from Fade this map.
I like the sim here. They're going to teleport across to the other high ground so that the core of the roster can take a fight. Or they're not.
They're not.
What are they using this sim to use?
Did they TP to the... So they TP'd behind the building there?
Oh,
so
yeah, no, that's what
up?
they... Okay, that's what I thought they were going to do, but they didn't bring everyone. They only brought the core.
That's very strange. I mean, you saw Oak going quite deep there. Huge anti-nade onto Luminous there. Goat looking pretty fine on that Ana so far. It's early days, but still looking very good. Oak will go down, however, and that might just spell the end of this team fight as Fade goes to the low ground to try and disengage rather than to the high ground to reconvene with his team, and that's going to force everybody on Sallad Leuf right the way back as Luminous goes for the throats of the remaining members here, and indeed does find them. Mordecai takes a quick nap and an anti-nade to the back. It's not going to amount to a whole lot, and Oak's going to be able to contest this, but this might be first point already, Misfit. Oh, he's not even going to go for it.
Yeah, that's already first point. Luminous there with a really nice engagement. They're able to secure first fight just because of how far back Sallad Leuf was playing. And I mean, there's nothing else to really say about it. Shade Reaper is going to get dominated here by Light, and they're just really pushing their advantage down.
Yeah, I don't really rate the timing of that engage from Fade. You just lost your Zarya. You probably don't want to drop down and drop the bubble there. Probably get on out of there. Luminous, on the other hand, is going to have loads of map control going into this next one.
Yeah, Luminous here is going to have the nano. They're probably going to throw that onto their monkey here. Yeah, there it is.
Straight away. I mean, the flashbang comes out. The shield bash comes out. Triple pulse bomb from Oak from absolutely nowhere. Watch out, watch out, watch out. Just single-handedly, make that 4, by the way. Single-handedly winning that team fight for Sallad Leuf there. That was his first set of kills in the entire map, and he got 3 kills with the pulse bomb and a 4th final blow onto G-Dent there, and has single-handedly saved Street's face.
Yeah, and once again, you know, this is what I was talking about. The mechanical ability there is so high, but again, he did that pulse bomb after Luminous engage had already come through, so it wasn't the tempo was still in favor of Luminous.
We see Fate go in and get immediately obliterated again, and Anti-Nade is onto Plague Doctor and Blue Woo, but Rally's gonna kind of negate that nonetheless. Another nano, pardon me, almost online. The grab pulse bomb combination not coming out just yet. Actually, not gonna use it. Mordecai's just gonna go for that pulse bomb anyway to take out Thomas, and the defense forced into a really unfavorable position here as Blue Woo goes deep onto the Ana, gonna be finishing off Goat there pretty easily, in fact, with very little peel and assistance for them, and Oak can only do so much. He's almost got his pulse bomb online, but unless he comes back and lands it on another 4, it's gonna be very optimistic coming through here, and point B gonna be finished on off by Luminous, and a big hefty time bank for them to finish Gibraltar.
Yeah, right now Luminous just looking so dominant here. We did see a nice fight from Sallad Leuf, but unfortunately Fade going down early kind of screws them in that last fight there, and now they're already on to the final point of Watch Point Gibraltar with 4.5 minutes. So Luminous is just, they're setting, I mean, what else can I say? They're so dominant right now.
I agree. And we see Fate go in. The High Noon comes out in response, however, from Light. Shade doesn't get out of the way. He just gets taken out by something so easily avoidable. My grandmother could have done it, but alas, he will not be doing it. Clapping back, however, from Sallad Leuf will find 2 picks in a row. Makes this a 4v4 as Oak goes dangerously low on the cart. Going to be falling down to the Tesla cannon of Blue Woo. This payload still marching on in. The nano onto Blue Woo as well, though. Nice projected barrier, gonna keep Goat happy and healthy, but the Primal Rage ready to go for Blue. He doesn't get to use it. Oak just burns him down. That is gonna slow this payload down finally for Sallad Leuf. They're gonna get a moment's breath to think about how they're gonna defend for the next 3.5 minutes.
Yeah, a very important fight win there for Sallad Leuf. They needed that in order to stabilize, and now they can work with some stuff here. They can set up much better. They can stage defense here. But Luminous, again, has just been so good at setting the tempo. I don't know if it's going to be enough. Positional advantage might not be enough to win on this map.
Oof. I mean, Oak getting his hands dirty there against Mordecai, goes to 8 HP and then gets the recall as this Tracer wants to go back in and find blood, but an anti-nade onto Luminous. Really well played from Goat. They're going to set up the assassination onto Light. So this is going to force the hand of the defense to go in now. They're going to push in. They find the pulse bomb onto the Brigitte, and that's going to stave everyone off and get out Blue's Primal Rage, which was ambitious at best, coming out after 2 of his fellow team members fell down there.
Yeah, another nice fight there from Sallad Leuf. I feel like I'm just saying that a lot. But again, you know, what else can I really say? It was a good fight. Like they did a good job, you know. And they have a lot of ultimates here. They're gonna have 5 online, including the rally to answer what we're seeing from Luminous right now.
Yeah, this is nice. Yeah, the High Noon just sort of zones the rally so that they can't get aggressive with it, but they do have the Graviton Surge. They're just going to solo it onto Shade Reaper, which forces a response of a much bigger grab. The bubble from the Winston, however, going to keep everyone up, and the High Noon from Light not netting them all that much. The Nano onto Shade Reaper, still going to be falling down, however, does go down as Fade goes so very low here. Luminous finally going to get the ball rolling as Oak pestering Light in the backline there. Not going to get much else out of it as he's forced backwards, but the payload rolling on in, and Fade has this Primal Rage ready to slow this down further. The time bank really dwindled nicely from the defense here. Blue Wolf falling as well. Gonna stop this payload going any further, presumably, as the defense really digging their heels in and gonna stop any further progress right now, and gonna be taking off the charge of the Zarya as well. G-Denth gonna be falling. A minute and a half, all of a sudden, looking really good for the defense.
Yeah, I do like the Diva swap from Shade Reaper. I think it is going to net them more overall value here. Again, you know, tempo is important, and Diva can play faster. So maybe with this switch, they'll be able to run this a little bit better here as the stage comes through from Sallad Leuf.
Yep, Thomas with that High Noon. Oh my words! Blue Woo drops out of his own bubble to try and avoid the High Noon. In fact, puts himself right in the middle of the High Noon. So it's going to be a quick, easy reset for Luminous. They don't want to push this without their Winston. Yeah, I mean, they have the rally to work with. That's about it, though, Misfit.
Yeah, that's going to net them a lot of time on the defense, at least. They have much more time, or much less time now because of that kill. So a very effective use of the High Noon there, even if it didn't get, you know, big hero play value.
Yeah, now the rally comes out, and Mordecai, you can see, swapped over to the Echo. Not Light this time, going to be staying on the McCree. Fade getting so much cleave damage there, but he is deep. He's going to have to get that Nano onto him, and is still very low. Trades back and forth here. Both Brigittas going down. Good initial targets, and the Graviton Surge out as well from Luminous, getting it done. Thomas going to be taking out Mordecai, however, but G-Denth has his number, and this payload's going to be rolling on through. Can anyone touch here, Misfit?
I do believe they will be able to touch in. They have no way to stop him.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, so Joy does get the touch, but goes down early, and the Nano is onto Blue Woo. Now High Noon as well from Light. Not going to net them anything, but it does just get that D-Mech nice and swift-ish so that they can do this. Oak's going to have to come up with some absolute heroics if he wants to turn this around here, but he gets stunned. Finished off by 1. The High Noon comes out from Thomas from the spawn, but won't be able to do anything, and in overtime, Luminous finish Gibraltar.
Yeah, and you know, I think Sallad Leuf has to be happy with that, given how the first 2 points went. You know, they rolled up there with 4.5 minutes on their time bank. They're able to whittle it down to 0, which is good. You know, that's the best case scenario for you there. Obviously, they would have preferred to hold it, but with 4.5 minutes, are you really going to hold for that long? It's not likely. So.
Yeah, unrealistic. I feel like Gibraltar's got a lot of parallels to Numbani in that sense. Is that first point, very defensible. Last point, very defensible. The streets phase is where the attackers can really get the ball rolling. But even going into third point with 4 minutes 45 on the clock, Luminous had no guarantee that they were going to finish Gibraltar there. I mean, eventually you assume that they're going to get the ultimates together, but it's going to take about that much time for you to break a defense on that final point Gibraltar. It's so brutal to get through, as is first point. So Sallad Leuf have not won this map yet, right? They still need to get through first point, and then they need to get through third. So this is no small feat, and Luminous have been no slouch in this series. So Sallad Leuf really got to step up if they want to keep this series going.
Absolutely. No, I completely agree with what you had to say there. It's just, it was a good recovery, but definitely still not an outcome that's that favorable. I'm going to be watching Luminous very closely here. They've been very good at setting the tempo so far, but on defense, especially on dive, it is hard to set the tempo and engage first, just because the way the attackers can stage is much better than how you can stage, so you have to play slightly defensively. But, you know, if you can still control tempo while playing defensively, they should be fine.
Yeah. I mean, there's another biotic grenade. Very nicely done. Just going to slow Sallad Leuf down there. Going to make sure that they can't quite get as aggressive as they would like. We're seeing the Echo Mercy, different to Luminous as well. Plague Doctor anti-nated up there, and that's going to be the signal for Fade to go in with his Diva. Try and get something done, but Fade doesn't make it out. The burst damage from Mordecai coming through there and finishing the Winston off. All the while, the payload is moving, though. So someone's going to have to put a stop to that. As Light, I thought, was going to drop down to contest the car. Someone else has gone to do just that. This high ground is well and firmly in Luminos's in their possession, Misfit here. Is not much anyone can do about it for Sallad just yet. We're going to see the Flashbang Thunder Hammer doubly go in onto Fade, and that's just going to finish him off. G-Dent does fall, however. The 5v5 comes through. Thomas, however, just going to be taken out by Light, who is a menace on this high ground. Finds 4. Make that 5 with the mech as well. My goodness. What an absolute ridiculous performance this player has had this series.
Yeah, and this high ground is so important for a dive composition and any composition on Gibraltar. It is the most high ground heavy map in the entire game, and Luminous, like you said, it's firmly in their control right now. Sallad not able to establish a foothold. I don't really understand the Mercy here. I think the Brig is just better at I just think it gives your team more. I mean, obviously the damage is good, but I think the Brig is just better.
Oh my word, G-Dent so very low there immediately. The duplicate comes online now, so a big grab has to occur. Fade will take out the Brigitte, so no rally as Plague Doctor was so very close to that. High Noon as well. No grab coming out from Thomas there. A slightly wasted duplicate, potentially almost got it online, but not quite. Self-destruct on a nanoed Winston right into the fray now as Fade goes in to try and counteract that. Blue Woo goes for the Primal Rage. The sticky onto Goat will finish them off, and it's just complete pandemonium at this point for Sallad coming out on top, but they need to get these kills quickly. Blue Woo takes out Oak with a slap to the back of the head there in that Primal Rage form, and Luminous have just about held this off now. Blue will fall to Thomas, but Mordecai's going to be able to stave it off a little longer with the aid of the honor at his back. Going to be able to take out Fade, and so close yet so far as Sallad there as the D-Mech comes through, and it's going to be another stagger onto a Shade Reaper.
Once again, I shall say, the Diva changed to her remake. Oh look, they're still staggering her. Wow, would you look at that? It didn't do anything that it was intended to do. Blizzard, please revert it. I'm tired of dying to it.
Shade Reaper actually went for the remake there as well, but got flashbanged out of it and then eliminated. So that is a brutal stagger. Absolutely devastating. I mean, 60 seconds on the clock for Sallad to make something happen here, Misfit.
Yeah, they definitely need to put something to work. They got some ultimates here. They've got the Nano. They've got the Pulse Bomb. There is potential for a nice fight here, but the rally coming through is just going to be so much armor, so much sustain for Luminous here.
Yeah, and Shade Reaper gets D-Mech, kind of from nothing, from the Winston tickling him there, so certainly not ideal. They're going to have to wait for the mech to come back online. They've got 30 seconds. They cannot botch this attack. And, I mean, you can just see them just waiting in the wings. They're waiting for the go button, but they need their mech back online. Fade got impatient, however, and the nano onto him is going to be the engage that they so seek, but Mordecai gets that sticky kill. Mordecai in the back takes out Joy as well. The pulse bomb goes down from the duplicated Thomas there, but nets them damage, not a final blow. Salladliv's DPS are turning this around nonetheless, but no healers available now for Salladliv. They're coming back on the Lucio Goat, but Luminous just keeping it going. I mean, Goat's on the point, and they're gonna get another fight out of this, but it's also hanging on by a thread. Pulse bomb out by Oak, doesn't get them anything. Blue takes out Goat now, and the High Noon from Light might just do it here. Primal Rage from Fade's got to get on the point. It does just that, but he's out of it as soon as you could say anything. The overtime all but over. Oak is gonna get the touch, but it means nothing. Luminous really gonna shine on through here as the Overwatch overtime will tick down. 3-0 to Luminous, and Sallad were outclassed in that series.
I think that there's no other way you can say it, really. Obviously, Sallad, the top team coming into this matchup, we figured they would be best, as they did have that 9-1 record, but Luminous putting on an absolute masterclass, doing a great job of playing as a team. We can definitely see that is the difference here. There is that pulse bomb that actually shut down a High Noon too. Very effective play from Oak. Unfortunately, not enough there for Sallad, as they will drop the series 0-3 to Luminous.
Yeah, they absolutely do. We do have some stats to show you, so go ahead and take a look at this. I mean, Oak had a fantastic series. There's no getting around that, and we can actually see here he was pumping in more damage. He actually got more final blows under his belt, not by much, of course. But when all is said and done, I mean, the rest of Luminous were just operating at a different sort of caliber, as you just said. They really did put on a masterclass this series, and we assumed Sallad Leuf might have a bit more of a fight when it came to this series. It might have been a little bit closer, but certainly Gibraltar there was kind of the epitome of how this series went. I mean, Luminous, after battling for a long time, finished Gibraltar, but Sallad Leuf not really getting a foothold once again. A slightly sad showing coming out from them. Oak was, however, the shining star for Sallad Leuf, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, definitely got to give it to Luminous there. They did an excellent job with their tempo. I thought their comps were better. King's Row obviously was very strange, but they read it in a very effective way. You know, they you can definitely see that they think about the game. They aren't just picking characters and because other people do it. They have a very clear strategy to the characters that they're picking, and I think that was a big reason why they're able to win this game. And I look forward to seeing how far they'll go in our GGEU winners bracket.
100%. That is more or less going to do it from us. But before we do leave you, we have got tons going on this weekend, so make sure you don't miss out on it. We do have at 2 p.m. tomorrow EST time, that is. We've got a panel on trans people in broadcast and production, so don't miss out on that. Also on Elo Hell Esports 2, we will be hosting the Will English Invitational, where 16 Valorant teams will be fighting for a prize pool of $1,000. So make sure you don't miss out on any of that. But for this particular broadcast, that's about going to do it from us. Any closing thoughts, Misfit?
Blizzard, please revert the D.Va remake change. I'm begging you.
I knew he was going
to. I will name my firstborn child after Jeff Kaplan if you change it back. I promise you. All right? That is a promise. You can hold me to it.
Should be Aaron now, right? Because it would be Aaron doing it.
We can talk about the details. They can DM me on Twitter, all right? You know, we'll get to that's a bridge we'll cross when we come to it, all right?
All right, Misfits DMs are open for anyone who wants to impersonate Blizzard after this, but that is about going to do it from us tonight. I've been Simbabble. I've had Misfit joining me here wonderfully on the mic. We've got Zuza in the back as well, absolutely slaughtering it on the production. Thank you very much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. We'll catch you next time, but for now, see you soon.